The desert stretched endlessly beneath the moonless sky, the empty road winding like a black ribbon through Big Bend National Park. Mark's hands tightened on the steering wheel, his eyes fixed on the narrow beam of their headlights. Beside him, Lisa leaned against the window, watching shadows shift across the rocky landscape. Silence settled between them, the kind that came after too many arguments left unresolved. But tonight was supposed to be different, a chance to escape, to reconnect. The vast darkness should have been peaceful, but something about it felt oppressive, too quiet, too still. When they saw the faint glow of a gas station's neon sign ahead, relief washed over them. Mark pulled in and the station stood in eerie silence. The cracked asphalt stretched beneath a dim, buzzing light. A thin, pale man emerged from the darkness, his eyes dull and sunken. His smile was crooked, his teeth yellow. He didn't speak at first, just filled the tank with slow, deliberate movements. When he was done, he leaned in through the driver's window, his breath stale. "The desert keeps who it wants," he whispered, then stepped back, his empty gaze leaving them. Back on the road, Mark laughed it off, calling a man a creepy old weirdo. But Lisa's unease lingered, her gaze fixed on the rearview mirror, the gas station fading into the night. Then, without warning, the car shuddered, sputtered, and stalled. Mark cursed, popping the hood, but the engine seemed fine, nothing out of place. Lisa tried her phone, but there was no signal. The darkness pressed against the windows like a living thing, the desert wind whispering faintly through the open windows. They waited in the car, the silence heavy. Lisa shivered. Even though the night was warm, somewhere beyond the glow of the headlights, something moved. Just a flicker in the darkness. "Did you see that?" she whispered, her voice tight. Mark glanced up, but there was nothing. Just darkness. Not even the stars in the sky. Just silence. But then they heard it, a faint, almost imperceptible whisper carried on the wind, a whisper that seemed to say their names. Mark's confidence melted into frustration, then fear. He suggested they walk back toward the gas station. It wasn't far, just a mile or two. Lisa hesitated but nodded, grabbing the flashlight. The desert was a vast, empty void around them, the sand shifting under their feet. But something was wrong. The whispers followed them, growing louder, rising and falling like a distant chant. Lisa's hand tightened around Mark's hand, while her heartbeat thundered in her ears. A pale mist began to rise, coiling around their legs, muffling the darkness. Mark's flashlight flickered, the beam weak against the encroaching mist. Lisa glanced down and saw their footprints trailing behind them, except they weren't alone. A second set of tracks followed them, larger, clawed. "Mark," she whispered. But before she could finish, Mark pulled her forward, his grip crushing her hand. They ran, the whispers now a maddening chorus. Lisa stumbled, her knees scraping the rough gravel and embossed sand of the shoulder. Mark yanked her to her feet, his breath ragged. He looked back, and for a fleeting moment he saw it. A shadowed figure with hollow, empty eyes watching from the mist. They veered off the road, plunging into the darkness of the desert, their thoughts consumed by raw, primal terror. Days later, a search team arrived after Lisa's family reported them missing. The sun was a cruel, unrelenting glare over the empty desert. The team found the car first, abandoned on the side of the road, the doors ajar, belongings scattered across the front seat. Lisa's purse, Mark's phone, dead. 2 sets of footprints trailed away from the vehicle, meandering into the desert, but the tracks vanished just 100 yards in, swallowed by the endless sand and rock. There was no sign of a struggle, no hint of what happened to them, just empty desert, watching in silence. The search team expanded their search, tracing the couple's path. They found the gas station, but it was different. The windows were boarded up, the neon signs shattered and hanging by a wire. Dust caked the pumps, the air thick with decay. Inside, counters were coated in years of neglect, but one thing remained, a faded, yellowed sign on the counter, its letters barely legible. The desert keeps who it wants. The attendant was gone, no trace of him, no record of the station being opened in years. Meanwhile, back at the abandoned car, one of the search team members lingered, staring at the empty desert. The wind picked up, a dry, whispering breeze that seemed to circle around him. He leaned forward, listening, his face pale. Faint whispers carried through the air, too soft to make out, until they weren't. His name? The voice whispered his name. Panic surged, and he rushed back to the team, leaving the empty desert behind. But as they drove away, the wind followed, and whispers did too. In the heart of Big Bend, the desert watched, patient and hungry. Next time you're home, all alone, or in the woods, and you hear those things that go bump in the night, sometimes they're best left alone.